Hi, I'm Jonathan Goldman, and it is a pleasure to be with you tonight. And we have an extraordinary experience for you. I'd like to welcome back a dear friend, colleague. You met him last time where he gave a wonderful introduction to what we're about to begin. And this is Lama Tashi, Nawang Tashi Bapu, who is one of the foremost chant masters on the planet. He's a renowned scholar and just a great teacher, and he's going to be sharing the Tibetan Secrets of Happiness with us. And tonight is going to be the first of a number of modules. We talked about this last week, and Tashi introduced himself and told us what we're going to be learning, and this week even more. So welcome back, Lama Tashi, Tashi Dalek.
Tashi Delek, thank you for having me here.
Tell us, Tashi, what is this session going to be about?
This session will be about how to overcome unhappy emotion, I call it, such as harmful intent, selfishness, and mentality of disregarding others' welfare. That's one portion. And then how to cultivate compassion, love, and altruism towards others to gain inner calmness, inner joy, and the well-being of life. In brief, let's practice compassion for benefit of our own self.
Well, compassion is so very, very important. Just recently, I've been involved in a number of conversations about compassion. I thought we have one of the great extraordinary conduits of compassion with you and your teaching. So how are we, wow, is that a bird that I was hearing? A compassionate bird?
Yeah, I think she's welcoming us.
Yes, indeed. Well, that's great. I love it. We are incidentally talking to you from India, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
So this is great. This is definitely a transcontinental transmission. Very nice. So how are we going to learn about compassion, and how are we going to practice it? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
In this session, we are going to learn the realistic idea and theories which will enable you to overcome the negative emotions that we talked about earlier. And then equally, you will learn the method to cultivate compassion, love, and altruism. And then once you learn the idea, theory, and method, you practice visualization, recitation of mantra, and meditation to cultivate compassion, love, and altruism to its ultimate state. Nice. That's what we're going to learn and practice.
So, would you say that compassion is perhaps the most important aspect of Buddhist philosophy?
Yeah, yes, that's why when in this mantra itself, the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani is a Sanskrit word for jewel. So among all the inner qualities, like whether you call it wisdom or love, compassion, whatever, like perfections, discipline or giving, forgiveness, whatever, among all the inner quality, compassion is one of the most valuable inner quality. It's like a gem. So that's why the Mani is referred to compassion. It's like a jewel of all the inner qualities.
Could we consider it maybe the jewel of the heart, or is it the jewel of the whole being?
Jewel of entire inner qualities, or we can say like whole being.
So in your teaching tonight, you're going to be telling us about the mantra and the, if you like, I guess you'd call it a deity, maybe a Buddha or a Bodhisattva associated with this. And then we're going to be doing, I guess, a visualization too. Is that right?
Yeah. When we talk about the cultivation of inner qualities, we have two steps in our tradition. One, definitely you want to overcome the negative part, like farming.
Yeah.
Like farming. You have to remove the stones or whatever that is not good for your farm. Remove them first, then you have to have a fertilization or water and everything to grow your farm properly. So same thing in this practice, one need to remove or overcome the negative part of the practice and then cultivate the compassion and love in this case. However, what is the steps is number one, to overpower or to overcome the negativity, we have to convince us that we should remove it. So we need logic, wisdom, a theory to convince ourselves intellectually why we need to remove it, how to remove it, and then same thing, how to develop the compassion and love, and why we need to cultivate. We have to work with our intellectual level. Once we are convinced in our intellectual level, now we have to bring that to our emotional level, in the heart level. So there, visualization and meditation and the recitation mantras helps. That's what we are going to use as the next step. First, we will work on intellectual level, then we will bring that down in our heart level.
The heart level. Okay.
When we can take that to our heart level, then we can make it part of ourselves. We can really become a compassionate person.
Nice. I understand that in the Tibetan tradition, you have like the mind and the body, and the connecting point is sound. Is that correct? And I guess a mantra falls into that category of connecting the mind and the heart, yes?
Yeah, because when we talk about our physical being, it's of course our body, which is made out of earth element, water element, fire element, or in other words, you can say flesh, blood, and things like bones like that. But another physical body is the sound, the voice we have. So it's equally important to transform it. So sound is the voice, our sound form of our physical body is equally important to, we need to transform it or improve it. So that's why mantra is a very important part in this practice.
Nice. Well, I want to in a minute talk about mantra with you, but first let's get back to compassion. And in terms of a philosophical approach to this practice that we're going to be working with, tell us about compassion, love, and altruism. What do those words mean? What does compassion particularly mean to you and in the whole Tibetan tradition?
Yeah, most Tibetan scholars use the compassion, the term for a Tibetan word, nyingje. And then if I explain what is nyingje, that's a Tibetan word for compassion, is referred to the wish, a wish that desires other to be free from suffering. That's in English. A wish that desires other to be free from pain or suffering. That's in English, free from pain. And then a wish that desire other to be with happiness. That's a love. And most time it says it's like two sides of a coin. When you wish other to be free from the pain, you are indirectly you are wishing that person, that being, to be with the happiness. And when you wish that to be with the happiness, indirectly you are wishing that person to be free from the suffering. That's the two, compassion and love. And then that's not enough. Once you have these two, just wishing someone to be with happy and free from suffering is good, but not enough. Who is going to do it? Then third one, the Bodhisattva, what we talk, I will do it. Mental determination to take responsibility of others' welfare upon oneself. That is what we call altruism, altruistic mind, intention. So these three, love and compassion, then altruistic mind. Altruism is important. So these three, once we have these three, it's like we can have compassion and love, but if we do not engage ourselves to make it happen, then that's it's a really good wish, but inactive. So we have to activate ourselves.
Yeah, so if I understand correctly, and I think that this is brilliant, so a lot of people just think of compassion as being either empathy or feeling for someone else or wanting someone else to be either happy or just or ourselves, being happy or, being joyful or whatnot. You're saying that we really need to take that step and help bring the other person to a state where they are no longer suffering. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. That's what the Tibetan Buddhist concept of the Bodhisattva.
Can you talk about the Bodhisattva a little bit?
Bodhisattvas are those beings who have made this determination. I will free those beings from the pain. I will bring happiness to those beings. So that's the Bodhisattva's attitude. Those beings are called Bodhisattva. It's like taking the responsibility, universal responsibility, or responsibility of other beings.
Can anybody, if they have the correct desire and wishes and action, become a bodhisattva? Is that possible?
Yeah, whoever. Any being on the earth or in universe, whoever has a mind or desire, heart, they can develop this compassion. And when it reaches to its ultimate stage, that automatically makes the person, to make a determination or to make decision that I will do it. I have been wishing this, that other to be free from the pain, be with happiness, but that's not enough. I will have to do it. That strong intention of enlightened, what do you call it, a positive intention arises in one's heart. Then that's a bodhisattva. It's not that you have to certify them or some kind of recognition. Whoever has this great kindness or kind attitude, a mental attitude, are called bodhisattvas.
So you're saying that it's not just a mental attitude, though. You literally need to kind of take action, would you say, somehow to help other people to do something. Is that correct?
Yeah. Okay, again, in our tradition, we have two stages here. First, you generate this mental attitude that I will take the responsibilities. And then second, what we call the juksem, then they engage themselves into the practice. And that's where we talk about the six perfections: perfection of giving, perfection of morality, perfection of effort, perfection of concentrate meditation, perfection of wisdom. You engage yourself first, starting with the perfection of giving.
Well, I love that and really relate to it personally, because I really think that it's really great to be able to sit and meditate and in our hearts generate kindness to others. And I have a feeling we're going to be doing that. But I think ultimately it's good to also be interactive and have some sort of action so we can actually get up and help other people. Would that be in your belief system?
Yeah, that's a Bodhisattva deed, what we call it. Even if we are not a perfect Bodhisattva, we can try, our best.
Nice. So, a question: how do we cultivate compassion, love, and altruism, and how can we use it to overcome negative emotions? And what negative emotions can we use it to overcome? A lot of questions.
Yeah.
So the first one is, how do we cultivate this stuff?
As I said earlier as well, to cultivate compassion, we have to identify what is its opposite emotion that stops us from cultivating it. So here I have put here like harmful intent, the harmful intention, violent intention we have, unfortunately. Whenever we dislike someone, and then especially if someone hurts us, then we get this kind of like sense of revenge, unfortunately, and then we generate harmful intent in our heart towards that person. That's the one that prevent us from cultivating our compassion. That's number one. And number two, selfishness. We just care of ourselves, but we ignore the other's welfare. So there's no love towards other beings, and that selfishness stops cultivation of love. And then third thing is disregarding others' welfare. Whatever they will do it, I don't care, something like that. That attitude stopped us from becoming an altruistic person. So if we want to develop altruism in ourselves, or altruistic intention in our heart, then we have to take, as we went earlier, we should generate or develop an intention that, I will do something for that being. I will try to help them. So those three negative emotions need to be removed from ourselves first, or at least demonize it. So how can we do it? That's a very important thing. Why should we stop harming others? Why should we stop to remove our harmful intent? Yeah, the thing is like we have this negative intention that how can I do something that let's say most times we say that I must teach him a lesson. If someone does something bad to us, we keep in our mind that I would at least teach him a lesson. But the point is, what I put here, one idea, one logic. It says that how can I hate? How can I hate or harm to the person who is also the victim of hate and harm intention? The person whom we carry our hateful intent or harmful intent is already in the whirlpool of pain. He's already in victim. Like, if someone is I like that, the Western concept of like schizophrenia, like lots of phobia, mental disorder, like that they act crazy towards us. But if we see they are also a patient, they are going through illness, instead of harming back, we feel pity on them, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he's already going through a painful sickness. So if we think this way, if we look at the person and the mental sickness he is going through, if we can differentiate these two first, that will help us to reduce our negative intention towards them. One of great master said, the Buddha never look at a person as enemy, but yes, their negative emotion as an enemy. Although Buddha look their negative emotion as an enemy, but not the person possessing it. The person who possesses the negative emotion is not at all your enemy. Real enemy is the negative emotion he possessed. He is possessing. And that negative emotion is not just harming me, it's harming him as well. So pity on him, he is also the victim already. So why should I hate the person? So if we review this logic again and again, then instead of hating that person, you feel pity on that person. Now, that's how you can reduce your harmful intent towards that person, and now in that place, you will be able to cultivate compassion towards that person.
Nice. I appreciate that. I have a question for you. I know that you have some wonderful stories about various aspects of the secrets that we're going to be learning. Do you have a story that comes to mind about compassion that just you might want to share with us about either cultivating compassion or whatnot, or not? A story.
Number one, first I want to share a story, the difference between what the compassion is helpful to ourselves. All this practice according to Buddhism, as the compassion, practicing compassion towards other beings helps yourself, makes you stronger, develop your inner strength.
Mm-hmm.
So a story what I usually think is very helpful is a school, an institute organize a marathon to the students and invited the parents, all the family members to be there. So one mother, one of the lady, accidentally stand in middle of the path where the marathon will pass by.
Oh no!
Without knowing, and suddenly, a boy, reached to the point. He was on a part of the marathon, reached to the point, but she was standing on the path, but no other option. He just tried to move through from the next beside the lady, but accidentally pushed the lady, and she almost fell down, and she looked back at the boy, and she started scolding the boy. How can he do like this? Pushed me that harshly. But it's part of the sport. Actually, the boy was running, and then the other people say, "Oh, you are on their way. So can you move little further?" And she moved a little bit, but still she was not very completely off from the road, off from the path. Another boy came by and pushed her even worse, that she fell off and hit her face on the ground. And everyone was told, oh, now she's going to go mad, right? But she got up and looked at the boy, and her reaction was completely different than the earlier one. to the earlier boy, even though he didn't push her, make her fell down, but she scolded very badly. But this time she was calm, and instead of getting angry, she was just looking and laughing and kind of smiling. And then every people next by said, "What's wrong with this lady?" And then one man said that, "Why you are not scolding to this boy? This is even worse because you are a little far away from the path this time. But still this boy pushed you and you fell off." And she just smiled and said, "That's my son."
Great story.
So,
So she
the
had
difference between the two, the earlier one wasn't her son, and she doesn't have this love and compassion and caring towards that boy, that her negative emotion overpowered her. She was scolding and saying bad words, but this time that was her own son. She has that compassion and love and caring towards this boy. That compassion and love and caring somehow overpowered the negative thoughts, didn't let the anger rise up because of her love. So this is what it says, that how your compassion and love can overpower negative thoughts. And the main thing is that although she was physically hurt at the second time, but mentally she was not hurt, because that was her son. She has love towards that. So how the compassion makes you emotionally safe and strong.
So Tashi, do you think that means that we should really, in order to develop compassion, that we should almost treat everyone as though they are our family member, or as though we are all interrelated?
Exactly. In Mahayana practice, it says that all sentient beings as your mother.
Ah, I like that. Yeah, nice. Well, that was a very you like telling stories, so I appreciated that. And we are going to be working with an aspect of, I guess you might call it the meditational aspect of this practice of compassion. And it has to do with a mantra, and it also has to do with, I guess, a deity. So now is the time. I know you have a magic virtual background slide that you're going to manifest and bring up. So let's count to 3, and I'll wait for Lama Tashi to bring on the mantra. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
So there we have a picture to your left and some words to your right. And I'm making the assumption that the words to your right are the mantra, and the picture to the left is the being. So which one do you want to talk about first, the mantra or the deity?
Okay, mantra first.
Okay.
So, when we talk about compassion and love and altruism, altruistic intention, the most popular mantra that we recite is Om Mani Padme Hum.
Can you say it again?
Which literally means,
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Yeah,
Okay.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Okay.
Okay. Om is one word, Mani is a second word, Padme is third word, and then Hum is fourth one. So if you just literally translate it, union of jewel and lotus for ultimate transformation, that's what I translated. Mani literally means jewel, Padme literally means lotus. What that stands for, Mani, jewel stands for compassion, and then Padme stands for wisdom. That compassion cannot take you to your final destination without the wisdom. So wisdom has to be there. Whom stands for union of the two together, compassion and the wisdom. And then Om stands for ultimate transformation. So Om, actually, if you go as per tradition, it should be written like A-U-M, Om.
A-U-M. Yes, I've
Yeah.
heard it's actually written that way.
Yeah, it should like traditional way. It should be written like this, but it will sound something different. So we just use OM. Anyway, A stands for body, U stands for speech, and M stands for mind. This Om letter is composed with three things: body, to represent body, speech, and mind. For us to transform ourselves, we have to transform our body and speech and mind. If we cannot transform our body, speech, and mind, we cannot transform ourselves. So, if we transform ourselves into an enlightened body, speech, and person, we have to transform our body, speech, and mind into an enlightened body, speech, and mind. And for that, we need Mani and Peme in union, inseparably. So this is what the meaning of the mantra is.
Tashi, question. As I'm reading it, it looks like O Mani Padme Hum. You're pronouncing it differently. How come?
That's actually Padma. Padma is a Sanskrit word.
Yeah.
It's written as per the Sanskrit. But when we read the Tibetan, when we have the D as a suffix, it's in a Da in Tibetan, Da as a suffix word, that becomes silent. There's a Tibetan way of reading, like you have K-N-O-W, right? K-N-O-W. No, you do not pronounce K in English. Same thing when you write Pa and Da to make a sound Pat in Sanskrit, but in Tibetan, the Da become silent. So Pe Me, that's why it's Pe Me. And then when we sound Hum, again, we do not sound the suffix completely Ma. That's become like Hum. We do not close our lips completely. So that sounds like a Hum, but actually it's a Hum.
H-U-N-G, Hum, like that kind of.
Yeah, it will sound like Hung, H-U-N-G.
Okay, because I've always wondered why. I knew that Tibetan pronounced it differently, but I didn't know why. But so the D is silent. Okay, thank you for, on behalf of not only myself, but I'm sure everybody who's always wondered why it's different in Tibetan. And
we still keep the writing according to the Sanskrit, because that's a Sanskrit word.
Right.
But when you read in Tibetan way, in general, whenever you find the Da as a suffix, it's almost always it's silent. So that's why.
Also, it's English, so it's Sanskrit to English, also being translated to Tibetan. So obviously, it's going to be a little different.
Yeah.
So we have the Om Mani Padme Hum, and then we have yes.
Yeah, when we will do this recitation later on.
Yeah.
When we recite the mantra, we should keep in our mind that by reciting we are requesting the deity, which will be in the next one, Avalokiteshvara, requesting for his blessing. That's what you keep in mind and you recite the mantra.
Who is the Avalokiteshvara?
Yeah, now next, the deity.
Yes.
Because compassion, when we talk about compassion, love, and altruistic intention, the Avalokiteshvara always enters there because he is the embodiment of compassion and love. And of course, if you make yourself as compassionate as him, and as loving as him, as altruistic person as him, you will be called Avalokiteshvara as well. So you can make yourself Avalokiteshvara by developing this inner quality. So as a whole, Avalokiteshvara is a belief as an embodiment of compassion. In other words, you can say the most compassionate being on earth or in universe is Avalokiteshvara. So we will recite his mantra, the mantra Om Mani Padme, whom is mantra of Avalokiteshvara. We will recite his mantra and request him for a blessing, or in other words, I want to be exactly like you, and please bless me. That's what it's going to be in our practice.
So the Avalokiteshvara has got 4 hands, is that right? Looks like he's got 4 hands.
This one has 4 hands. Yeah, Avalokiteshvara can have, there are many different aspects. One is, most famous one is called 1,000 arms and 11 heads.
Whoa.
And of course, this has a very interesting story behind. Anyway, this one has 4 arms, and the 2 arms like this, holding jewel in the 2 hands, jewel. And then 1 arm holding a padme, a lotus, that's jewel and lotus, right? Mm-hmm. And then 1 arm holding a prayer beads like a calculator, ancient calculator. Yeah, that's rosary or prayer beads. That symbolize that the countless number of the beings, his love and compassion is equally towards all beings. Not like he has compassion just to his near and dear ones, but towards all beings. That's what the symbolic of the mala he is holding in his right hand. And then, of course, jewel, as I mentioned earlier, the compassion and love, and then lotus is a wisdom that needs to be together.
Nice. The Avalokiteshvara. I remember I think I asked you one time, but maybe you could share with our audience. Did you tell me that it's believed that the Dalai Lama is said to be an embodiment of the Avalokiteshvara? Is that correct?
Yeah, we believe that reincarnation of emanation of Avalokiteshvara in human form.
Well, he's an extraordinary person. I can believe that. And you have, chanted in front of His Holiness for a time. So what a blessing that must be.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very, very fortunate to have these opportunities in my life.
I have a question now. After we get done, or while we're chanting, I think, did you want us to be doing some sort of visualization or something like that?
Yeah. As I said, like when we start mantra, we should just have a intention or in thought that, okay, through this mantra, I'm requesting Avalokiteshvara for a blessing. And as a response, for this practice, you sit first, you make sure that you are sitting on a very comfortable place. You don't have to move in between, like meditational posture or whatever. That's what suits you. And now you visualize that as a response, Avalokiteshvara is sending the blessing of enlightened healing energy, compassion and love to you in the form of light and nectar. Nectar. Light should be a moisture, right? Comes to you and enters to your heart and bless you with the healing energy, all the blessings of compassion and love, makes you a compassionate person and loving person and altruistic person. You just think that, okay, I got blessed by the Avalokiteshvara while reciting mantra. And that's one step. And then next, as we went through earlier, having desire for to free other from the pain and happiness is a great thing, but that's not enough. Now you have to do something for all other beings. So in this practice, we will just visualize that from your heart. Now you send the light and the light and the nectar as a blessing of compassion, healing energy, love, and altruistic intention towards all other beings. Sending equally to all other beings. In this practice, this is very helpful. If someone has been mean to you, you visualize that person in front of you and you are sharing your love and compassion to that person. That will help. All other beings. You are sending this light and nectar to all other beings and heal them from all kind of problems, fill them with compassion, fill them with love and altruistic intention, and transform them from a negative being or a difficult being to a Avalokiteshvara kind of being.
Beautiful. So let me get this straight. So the first thing we do, as we're chanting the Om Mani Padme Hum, we'll probably do this with our eyes closed, I guess, or we could probably look at the Avalokiteshvara, but really visualizing the Avalokiteshvara in front of us, and then filling us with this light and this nectar of compassion, and we feel this permeating and just going throughout our body and just infiltrating every cell and every aspect of our being, and then we send it out to all other beings on the planet in order to raise their energy and generate compassion to them. Is that right?
Exactly, yeah. You are doing it second time because that's how you share your compassion and love.
Beautiful. I love that. I can't wait. And I have a question. So we'll be probably chanting for about 5-10 minutes or something like that, and then will we be silent after we get done chanting and just sort of take in the energy of compassion? What do you suggest?
Yeah, through this visualization and the recitation of mantra, we got blessed and you blessed all other beings, right? And now, one thing is like state of joy. That's very important. In one hand, this will help you free from the, what do you call, depression and all those. Sometimes, yeah, the meditation can be depressing if it's going to wrong direction, if it's gone to wrong direction. So always like, you did this service of blessing all other beings. Now you kind of, wow, what a lucky me. One, I got the blessing from Avalokiteshvara, and number two, I did a great service for entire planet or the beings in the universe. So with that, you just feel the joy, focus on the blessing of the Avalokiteshvara, experience the joy and sit there. And then, traditionally we talk about emptiness. At the same time, that's not an independent phenomenon. And the crucial point is you should have a mental attitude of detachment. Not like grasping strongly, okay, I, me, here, not like that. Just let it go, let it flow. Mental attitude of detachment. And this true experience of the joyful state of mind and then mental attitude of detachment. In this two, you just sit there and just continue that experience as far as long as you can do, as far as you can go, like 10-15 minutes, but here we will do 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. And I think what will happen is that when you get done chanting, we'll just be in silence, and then I'll hit a little Tibetan bowl, and that'll be a time for us to come back, and you can just then conclude the session. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's great.
So my question, last question on this one, you have such a lovely, deep Tibetan, deep voice. And that I know a lot of people would just want to hear you chant, but I think you would probably suggest that even though people don't have the same chanting style or technique as you, that they recite the chant or chant along with you. Is that correct? You want them to make sound?
Yeah. Not necessarily to just imitate me or this style. You can just use your regular voice to chant the Om Mani Padme Hum. Just join me.
Well, that's great. Would you like to say the mantra a couple of times, and we'll say it along with you, and then get yourself centered and start and lead us in 5 or so minutes of chanting the mantra, so we can feel it and become the embodiment of the Avalokitesvara. I can't wait.
Thank you. Yeah, let's. I will start with paying respect to Avalokiteshvara, homage to, and then continue with the mantra.
Great.
And then when we are done with that, and we'll continue sit for a silence meditation. And at the end, I would request like when you are done with completely, and then you just dedicate for world peace. And main thing in Tibetan tradition or Tibetan Mahayana tradition, you can pray for the world peace, you can pray for happiness and everything, but if these qualities are not generated in the heart of the beings, individual level, there will be many poor people creating problems anyway. So pray that, may this compassion generates in the heart of all individuals. If you can pray that as well, then we can definitely have a world peace and harmonious society.
Great. All right. Well, Lama
So I will go for a few minutes chanting this mantra, starting with homage to Avalokiteshvara.
Mm, that
Thank
was
you.
very powerful. I was chanting along with you here, and it was just very, very powerful. And I really trust that everybody who was chanting along with us, either now or in the future, will experience this extraordinary. I really feel blissful and really just full of light. Is that supposed to happen?
Yeah, yes.
Mm, nice. The Avalokitesvara. Oh, Mane Pime Hung. And with us just really generating compassion in order to overcome negative emotions. I feel like I think we could use that also to generate the negative, to release the negative emotions that we may have towards somebody else, and maybe even about towards ourselves. Would that be possible?
Yes. Yeah. Although we have a little different, we use a little different for when it comes to ourselves. But yeah, I like that. Many people in America they use in the West they use self-compassion and self-love.
Mm,
Exactly, that's needed actually. If you do not have this feeling that I want to free myself from the pain and the negative emotions and I want to be happy, if you do not have that for yourself, you cannot generate it for others. First,
yeah,
you have to have that for yourself.
and I suppose that if you begin to vibrate and become an embodiment of the Avalokitesvara while you're doing the chanting, you got to feel better about yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. That's how that will help you a lot. That's why one of the uh, tradition behind the philosophy behind the tradition of healing with the mantra is like this. You use the mantra and then you visualize and Avalokiteshvara bless you, healed you. That's very much there, yeah, in the tradition, in our tradition as well.
Can you tell us some ways that people might be able to use this mantra and this visualization for healing and basically achieving happiness? Some more stuff. Anything that comes to your mind right now?
Uh, when we visualize the light come from the Avalokiteshvara and the nectar, we have two things here, light and the nectar.
Mm-hmm.
So you visualize the light, like a laser light, right? Uh, Visualize that, it's going more like a laser treatment going on, like burn off the negativity, all those sicknesses or whatever, if it's there in your body. You visualize that lights burns off everything, and then nectar is like a liquid form, water, wash away those all the leftovers,
Oh,
and then filled with the healing energy like a medicine.
beautiful.
So light comes in and then burns off all this negative energies or sicknesses or mental problems or physical problem, whatever. Just burns all this off, removed from your body, and then nectar gets inside body and fill yourself. Nectar in the form of medicine heals from your toe to your crown, entire part of yourself. Uh, as a medicine. And this can be effective if you do the visualization and recitation both together, not like, just visualizing may not work. Just, of course, the mantra itself is already a sacred mantra, so it has always have its benefit. But if you do it, a visualization, that will be healing activity as well.
Like both together, they amplify each other. The
Yeah,
mantra and the visualization work together to make it stronger.
yeah, exactly.
Nice. So we can use this to sort of this mantra and this visualization. It sounds like it can be used for real healing body, mind, and spirit.
Exactly, yeah. Yes.
Nice. Well, Lama Tashi, can we go to the magic of virtual backgrounds again? And we'll take a breath and then have you tell us what we're going to be a little bit of a conclusion, but also talking about our next session, just briefly. There we go. Whoa, all right.
That has been a wonderful session, I would say. I hope that, most of you gets what I have been trying to explain and share with you. On next session, we will continue from the compassion to wisdom. We went through the compassion and mani and peme.
Yes.
Now when we comes to wisdom, we have a deity called Manjushri, and the mantra is Omara Pasanadi. And this the main purpose of this practice is to cut off the negative emotions, negativities. Of course, each practice has its own opposite side of negative emotions, but this particular one mainly ignorance through cutting off anger, hatred, and ignorance. So we will have Avalokiteshvara in next week, and Manjushri deity, and a recitation of the mantra Omara Pasanadi, and working with the anger, and then hatred and forgiveness.
Well,
so developing forgiveness.
I think that's wonderful. So my heart is really full and activated from doing the visualization and doing that chanting. And I know that you would suggest that people maybe even watch this session over if they like, or actually watch the and experience the chanting that you just did, and chant along with it. So once is good, but I'm sure you would agree that the more that people do this chant, this visualization, the better it will be.
Yes, traditionally, as I mentioned earlier, first you convince yourself in this level, intellectual level, and then you try to bring it to your heart level, your emotional level. So to bringing here, it takes time. No, it's not that easy. It will make sense to our brain, intellectual level, quite easy if you study lots of things. But bringing it to your heart requires repetition of this practice. Practicing it, make it familiarize with this practice. Do it again. That's why meditation is all about. So, in general, I think even the modern science says that, like, you do it for at least 21 times or 25 times, that will kind of rub off to your heart if you do it for like 21 times. So it's always I will suggest that if you can do it for at least 21 times in the morning every day or something like that, whatever suits you. But if you in this practice, in this course, we will have different sessions, right?
Yes.
And each session focuses on different things, different deities, different mantras. So after going through all this session, you can select one and work on with one thing first. And then once you work that works, whichever you like the best, you select that, and maybe at least you make one thing part of yourself, then definitely this will. The main purpose is if we can overpower the what I call unhappy emotions, all this like selfish thoughts, and then hatred, anger, all those are the one that's destroyer of our happiness, our good life. although we try so many things to achieve success in life, uh, making money, getting a good status, become famous, respect in society, whatever, all those, of course, that will help it in a certain level. But if we keep those afflicted emotion, unhappy emotion intact in ourselves, then our happiness will always be a temporary. We cannot really find a real happiness. So if we work to that side, to how to overpower them, or overcome them, release it from ourselves, let it go away from ourselves, then we will definitely get a better life and I call it most calm state of mind. If we can get that one, the most calm state of mind, then happiness is very easy. Just next to yourself, it will just get into. But if you cannot get this calm state of mind, something is kind of irritating, scattering your inner peace, then all those achievements and success in life will not make much difference. So working on this will help. That's the main purpose of this course. How can we bring the most calm state of mind so that you can enjoy the happiest life ever?
Lama Tashi, that was beautiful. I really appreciate that. And I know everybody watching this will really appreciate everything that is done. My heart feels happy. I really appreciate you sharing the wisdom and compassion that you did in this session, and I look forward to our next one. And I know that everyone else will do that too. So I believe that the appropriate Tibetan reading and also bye-bye is Tashi Delek. Is that correct?
Exactly, yeah. Tashi Delek.
Tashi Delek to you and to everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, we'll see you next time.